Greetings and salutations, Internet. It is official. The government is now advocating the kidnapping of leadership around the world. So they got Nicolas Maduro. This is a little garment I wore to one of the protests against the kidnapping of Maduro, against the seizure of all of their oil tankers. They've been killing a bunch of fishermen and people enjoying nice days out on the beach for a few weeks now. But this has been a play in the works for, I mean, before Trump got into office, even before his first term. They never wanted the continent to be stable. They wanted, they call it now the what was it, the Monroe Doctrine, but it's a play on the Monroe Doctrine, which is just basically saying the corrupt white people who run America should also run Venezuela, even though Venezuelan did more for Americans, especially poor Americans, than our own government. You know, they had a program where they were giving poor people discounted petrol. So like, like you start getting cold during the winter, you could rely on the Venezuelan government more than your own government if you were an American. And as opposed to having a bunch of garbage, shit-sucking billionaires running their energy companies, they have publicly owned energy. So the profits that are made from their Citgo energy company, it goes to the people. Yeah. Will you ever do an employee evaluation again? Yeah, maybe you weren't here for the last video, but yeah, the first employee evaluation of 2026 is going to be on nateflix.net. You won't be able to see it over on the censoring websites like Instagram. Doesn't happen here. Nateflix.net for that stuff. You see the new stuff, the old stuff, new rewinds, old rewinds. Just a lot of stuff. I do mostly just live stuff I don't have to edit over here, because all of the work I put into editing, I don't get my shit monetized anymore. Then they also snatch it up off the internet. So it's like, what is the point of me putting all that effort into it when no one's going to see it? And if they do have they're lucky enough to see it before it's snatched off the internet, I still don't get paid. So it is nateflix.net. Thank you, King. Loved all your videos. I'm happy you're doing so well. Who said I'm doing well? Who said that? Who lied to you? No, I'm getting through it. What's up? You're looking dapper as always, Nate. You know I do what I can with what I got. It's just I just make the struggle look good. Been doing it so long, I figured out how to do it with a plum. And yeah, if someone has the ability to go to the Rumble page, I'm streaming on there. I just want to verify my sound works, because just last time I was doing live, someone said they couldn't hear me. And it's, it doesn't get the comments, or maybe I just can't see them. But yeah, I went back and I could hear myself, but I don't know if it's like an issue when I'm doing live, if the sound doesn't work or what's going on. Someone could just verify that. That would be glorious. Looking moxie as ever. Man, you must have been around forever. Moxie, I think you meant to say Mixie. If you're talking about the old ass employee evaluation, yeah, that was Mixie with two X's. Man, I'm surprised I remember that because I don't even know if I got that one to re-upload. But then I got like a bunch of rewinds that or employee evaluations that I haven't done anything with recently. Because I've been giving people the benefit of the doubt, if I did like a old rewind of someone doing some foolish shit when they were younger, I just assumed that they grew up, and yeah, I didn't post it. Like it was like one chick, she was um, talking about having sex with a dog. She was bragging about being a prostitute. But then she was like a kid. She was like 19 or something like that. And this was like, a decade ago. So I was like looking at the rewind. I censored it, like I covered out her face, but then I was like, I'm just apprehensive to post that shit. Cause I'm like, she had to have grown, right? Then it was like the new rewind, which is basically it's me talking about someone I talked about years ago before I even had rewinds as a series. And it was like she was saying the same trifling shit that she said like 2 decades ago. And I was like, maybe some people didn't grow. Maybe I should be exposing them. But then, it's a case by case basis. It's two kinds of people that don't grow. It's fools and the wise. And it's a lot of foolish people. But I'd like to hope people found wisdom throughout the years. I believe people can grow. I'll check. Yes. Okay, so it was a Mixie reference. All good on Rumble. Sounds good. Good to know. And better quality camera. Locomotive Kurt and Vico are my top ones, truly. Man, that's. I wonder where that guy is. Matter of fact, I think. Oh shit! I just realized Locomotive Kurt became Post Malone. Oh shit! And I didn't even think about it until today because I remember he was in a interview. He was saying that his old name was Locomotive Kurt. That's how he got his start, and he had like a beef with me. Man, now the world is starting to make sense again. Let's see what's going on. What's up, Nate? Welcome, Zirism, Ziri Sam. Oh, Locomotive Kurt was a treasure. Oh, yeah, he treasured snacking. Is one thing I can say about that young gentleman. And I was like rewatching Atlanta. And it was it was one of those shows I was reluctant to watch. I was like working with a few people who they were talking about one of the episodes made me want to like check it out. It is like a very untraditional show. But they have one of the episodes, it was the rapper Paperboy. He was like sponsoring these little white rappers and just that cornball shit that they would say that they thought was cool. I'm not gonna say that most of the just the rappers that are pushed on the general public aren't that trash. In general, despite the color, but it's just the shit that I hear them, like, and I just hear like, I live in a very white area, and I get to hear some of them use certain slang words and the shit they think is cool. And it's just, I mean, that Locomotive Kurt is a testament to all of that shit. And it's just like I said, I hope he's found growth. Um, especially now that he's Post Malone. I don't really keep up with his music. It's not my cup of tea. But yeah, man, that's an old school one. I think the Locomotive Kurt is over at Netflix.net. You can search it in my Rumble. Yeah, I forget the name of it. It might be Locomotive Kurt, or no, it's not. It's got something to do with the train in the title. But yeah, Southside holding it down. Well, and not only do I have the Southside gonna hold it down employee evaluation, I got the extended version of the song over on SoundCloud. So it's got the extra verse because it didn't stop where it stopped on the video, and I think that's downloadable for Patreon subscribers, and it got a few other downloads that you can get. But yeah, yeah. I also got the newest one is the Mace looking at me, the original version. So it's like I don't know if you ever heard the song Mace while you over there looking at me, but the original version it talks about what happens in room 112, where the song that you heard, if you heard the original or the 1997 or 1998 version, if you heard that version, it ends on uh, what them going to room 112, and the original version it talks about what happened in room 112. Getting roofied by Diddy. That's what he was like. It always be the rapist that be sitting in the rear, roofing your beer, coming whisper in your ear. That's how Diddy gets at you. He's got like he's got some Bill Cosby action. Like from downtown. You get it right in your drink. Then you're roofied. Easy peasy. The South gonna hold it down. We need more employee evaluations. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Um, the employee evaluations over at nateflix.net. So you got the first employee evaluation of the new year that's being posted, as well as the first rewind of the new year. But yeah, I don't do that stuff over on the censoring websites. Instagram is one of those. I went into the reasoning why. A lot of effort goes into those videos, and if I don't get, they took away my monetization, then that shit just gets taken off. And then I also have the possibility of having my channel taken down for just sharing a lot of this shit. So yeah, the beret and everything is giving Huey P. Newton, and I'm digging it. Well, I do know quite a few Black Panthers. Um, yeah, and that's the Marcus Garvey. That's the first Black FBI agents were sent into his movement to infiltrate it and bring him down because they didn't want to see us rise. That's why I got like family, they military. I got a sibling who became a warden, a Black warden, and they think that's progress. And y'all are being co-opted, and they can't understand the brainwashing that comes with certain jobs. But if you talk to them, you can understand. If you we are polar opposites, and yeah, a lot of them they have a lot more financial freedom because you can make a lot of money selling out. My biggest thing I'm most proud of is the amount of money I walked away from, and a lot of them can never understand it. But when I'm in the presence of revolutionaries like the last leader of the Black Panthers, Elaine Brown, got to meet her several times, chopped it up with her. She basically just confirmed I'm on my path. She told me, the struggle that the Panthers had when they were first getting started and all that shit. And it's just like, I definitely felt those infiltrators, when I was out in LA. That's one of the big reasons I was like, let me get the fuck out of this bitch. But yeah, and that's why it's imperative. Like we need to learn from what's happening to Maduro. Now that we can abduct politicians, we could abduct these terrorists. Like we got billionaire terrorists who are controlling our politics right now. What are we doing about it? We need to detain them as well as the politicians who take their lucre. They got to go. You know, this is the all of the revolutionaries who are looking out for you, trying to build civilizations. Because we don't live in a civilization. Um, we live in a colony state. It's being gutted from the inside from the criminals who are going after these other governments, right? And we'll never see anything thrive until we do something about these motherfuckers. So they say it's fair game to go after the leadership. None of these motherfuckers are leaders. I don't know a single politician with above a 50% approval rating. So we need to take their lucre, like reappropriate all of their property. Like they can take oil tankers. Why can't we? Why, you know, that's one thing I learned from Elaine Brown. She was talking about how the breakfast program got started. Um, she was like, they got that shit by the food by hook or crook. They used to go in the Safeway. They had connections at the UCLA. They had connections everywhere. They would just like go up in there, snatch the food if they had to. Sometimes they'll talk to the people. They weren't listening. Like they figured out a way to get the food to feed the community. Why can't we? What would happen if we had a pool of billionaires that we were robbing, or I'm sorry, we were allocating their terrorist funds. We were doing exactly what they're doing to Venezuela. We have more right to do it to them since they took it from us in the first place. We'd be sitting pretty. Elon Musk stole $700 billion from us. He's getting subsidies that are supposed to be going to American-owned companies. Just from him alone, we go back and steal the money he stole from us, or we reallocate it. You gotta be careful, like the politicians. They don't say we stole their money or we're kidnapping leadership. They have like flowery language for it. We can talk flowery too, but we need to get shit done. I'm ready. Are you? Someone tells you that the billionaires have been kidnapped by China or Venezuela or whoever the fuck, are you going to suit up and go fight for them? You going to fight for Joe Biden and Donald Trump, Kamala Harris? You gonna fight for them, or you gonna go and just steal their shit that they stole from you back? Let's do it. Bill Cosby action. I still can't believe they just abducted Maduro. Yeah, nah, it's crazy. They are out of hand. They are showing their true colors, and it's just like if they could do it, why can't we? And and like to get even crazier, there was nationwide protests against it, right? One of the protests I was at, they were coordinating with protests in Grand Rapids. One of the people who was leading the protest was followed by the police and abducted for protesting the abduction of Maduro. So they're abducting American citizens who are standing up against this kind of tyranny. So they're coming after us too. So it's like them or us. Who are you? Like, are you just gonna sit around and wait for the billionaires, like for them to like look at you to look at them funny, them to go through one of your posts and then like figure out like, oh, we need to abduct this motherfucker. They're not as subservient as we would like, or we're gonna get proactive. I mean, all these motherfuckers, they need us to survive. They need us to make their food. They need us to do all of the services. They contribute nothing at all to society. So while they're like going picking up some food, one of you guys is going to see them. One of you guys might be their chef. You just got to take from the Diddy playbook, slip something in there, like wait for them to get a little woozy, and then just abduct them, send them out to Iran or Venezuela, whatever country What was it? El Salvador. They said that they will gladly hold our corrupt leadership. They have these new super prisons. Let's send them to El Salvador. You know, or like maybe people like Netanyahu, maybe the people of Palestine want to do something with them, like have them doing delivery of like Uber Eats or something, so they can talk shit to them, throw stuff at them. I don't know, but it's like they need to have some kind of justice. It's not we can't just sit around and wait for them to continue making decisions that impact us when we know they're criminals. We look stupid. Like these motherfuckers are criminals. Like we know it. We know they should be arrested. Yet they're still in power. Why? Make it make sense. Um, I hope I can ever get a point, walk away from it all, but I'm too much of the world. It just sucks because I'm too conscious of it. Well, just wait for your time to shine. Like I I was patrolling a few different companies that several of the billionaires in my area were own, and it's interesting because I get to talk to some of the people who encounter them, and like a company like Amazon. You talk to someone who works at the warehouse, they're like, "Fuck this shit." Now I guess it's getting better. They unionize. I was showing up when they were working to unionize that shit, but even when they were like pissing in the bottles, um, they had the people who were working near Jeff Bezos. They're the corporate people. They were making like ten-ish thousand dollars a month, or more. Some of them, and then it was crazy because they were coming in from out of state. They got their housing supplied to them by Amazon. It looked like like they had this thing where they were where they were renting houses from the either Jeff Bezos or one of his subsidiaries because they were paying this ridiculous rent. They had their own shit. Most of their money was going towards rent. So it sounded like they were making a fuckload of money, but it was like so much of it was just going towards the day-to-day expenses. Similar, but then they had nothing but great things to say about Jeff Bezos. They had, they had, just the talking points that were given to them because they were so closely connected to the money. And yeah, it's just like I truly think you can't be a good person and have that kind of money. Because if you feel like you need $100 billion, something is wrong with you inherently. You know, what can you get with 2 billion that you can't get with one? I'll show you how to live off the interest of $10 million. But yeah, it's just like this. The mentally insane are running the crazy house. Is it just me or is the audio lagging behind the video? Could be me. I don't know. This is a different device I'm streaming on. Not the top tier one. China. Yeah, China is way better than we are. I saw like their New Year celebration. They had these drones. We have the surveillance drones and all that shit. The drones that have dropped bombs. They had these drone shows where the whole sky was just turned into a TV screen. It was a beautiful thing to be seen. People, a lot of people have nothing but negative shit to say about China. Oh, they're surveilling their population and all. Our government isn't doing the same. Our government has all of the worst parts of China, but none of the good parts. Like we have, who has more homeless people? Not just per capita, just in raw numbers. We do. You'd be hard pressed to find a homeless person out there. Uh, Repatriating the dough. Yes, let's make it happen. Let's create cutesy words for getting what is due to us. I'm ready for a revolution, or at least mass power shift has been brewing for a while in the U.S. now. Well, I mean, I think a big part of it. we need to be closer connected to everything that is essential. If you are not in control of something, it will be used to control you. So the essentials. Are you in control of your food? Do you make your food? Do you know who makes your food? Is it locally sourced? Or is it like, made in some giant corporation is like shipping parts around the world? You have no idea. Bill Gates, he owns 51% of the arable land in the United States. All right. You got a psychopath in charge of your food companies. Right. We need a return to family farms, locally owned. Like if you can't get any government subsidies unless it's owned by the workers. Never put the money in more money in the hands of people who already have too much of it. If you got any subsidies and you're a billionaire, automatically going to jail. If you're a millionaire, criminally investigated. I mean, millionaire, you can say going to jail too. But it's just like we need to do away with this culture of um, subsidizing the most worthless people in society, and that is the people who have all of the money. Because if you have all the money, if you have 100 billion, you are like by definition worthless, no value. Your value is derived by what you can go without. If you need 100 billion, then you have no value. You need that money because you need to have lord it over other people because no one would fuck with you if you couldn't buy the bank that owns their house and make them homeless. Instagram trying to DDoS. Oh, is that a thing? Is that going on? This is like a test to see who is going to speak up. Video is lagging for me too. Sorry. Rumble is fine. Well, welcome to there. Let me see. Are the comments all okay? Normally, I'm pretty sure I do get comments from all platforms that this other camera is streaming from, but I don't see anything right now. But honestly, no one is truly ready, but we're all going to have to be ready. And that I think is most jarring. Americans are very complacent. I've seen mass protests here in Asia for the tiniest issue. Well, and then we've also been trained to just hate each other for every little thing. You know, we even make up shit to hate each other for. Like, what is a religion? Why would someone hate someone over a religion? But then I think a lot of that shit is just, is garbage. I mean, the Islamophobia, that was real. I experienced that shit, especially after 9/11. We turned that shit up, and it really was just an excuse to hate brown people. Because it's not like the motherfuckers just checking like, oh, that Arab person, let me make sure they're the right religion. It's just like, no, I'm just gonna fuck their whole shit up. I had a homie who was a Christian after 9/11, but she was Indo-Fijian, and some random dude just socked her in the mouth and called her a terrorist. So yeah, that's a real thing. But like when people start talking about anti-Semitism and all that shit, that's largely made up bullshit. And it's really just the people who are against the terrorist state that is Israel, our little brother. Because I'm against the terrorist state that is America as well. And they were made in our image. We got the same daddy, Great Britain, just like Saudi Arabia, just like Somaliland, just like all of the places that are really just in turmoil right now, making the world worse. That's why I think the English are the worst of the worst colonizers. That's why I tend to get along with people who are from Ireland. I don't want to say Irish people in general, because you got like the Bostonian Irish who are just. I discovered this like last year. They were because I always had this weird. I noticed some weird shit about Bostonians. Like the Irish people that like they'll be the most racist motherfuckers. Um, but they come from like the same uh, uh the same stock that was like, enforcing the Irish rules when they were like cracking down on the IRA. The same people who went over to Palestine to colonize for the British, they got like their own little spot in Boston, and that's why they call it the area New England, because it's like, yeah, the English, we are still a colony of theirs. We have a story. It's like the British are coming. We had our revolution. We kicked them out. We're no longer run by the redcoats, and we moved from being run by British royalty to run by the richest people in the country. And it's just like, turns out British people still have money. A lot of those European banking cartels still have money. So basically, we would go to war for all these motherfuckers. We are the villains. Because after, was it 1950s? When Gandhi showed that, tried giving peace a chance and showed the cruelty of the British army. They were like, okay, we don't want to be the bad guys, but we still want our agenda met. So we'll just get our colonies to do it. And our intelligence agencies were created in their image. MI6 worked to bring the OSS, which became the CIA, made it in their image. And we had partnerships and creating other countries and secret militaries and secret intelligence agencies that run them. But yeah, we need to overthrow all that shit. And if we're going to go after, if Trump could blow up drug cartels in Venezuela, we could blow up one of the biggest drug cartels, which is the CIA, the Cocaine Important Agency. Need $100 million and can't properly compensate your warehouse workers for workplace accidents. Wild, yeah. Yeah, just broken people. That's actually my flex this year. I've been growing and making raw foods. I feel like a survivalist. Well, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. Make your own. You need to be able to make your own food. It was like this. It's an ongoing thing where people talk about who's supposed to pay for the first meal. Man's supposed to do all this, man. And I seen like videos, women calling guys broke. You can't do this. You can't. One, if you depend on the man to buy your food, it's a lot of meals in the day. And if I can't be with someone who can't feed herself, that is concerning. Like, it's not like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pay for your dinner, but then who's gonna pay for your lunch? Like, you can't feed yourself. Two, you shouldn't be eating out all the fucking time anyway. Make your own fucking food. You know. Last first date I had, it was me making dinner, right? And then it ended up being with my ex for a considerable amount of time. And yeah, I did all the cooking and she had all these ailments that stem from not eating well. Like, you garbage in, garbage out. So it's like, I just showed the benefits of home cooking, making your own fucking meal complete with vegetables, dark leafy green vegetables that absorb a lot of the toxins in you, and it was just like, within months, a lot of her ailments had been reversed, but it was just like all that eating out and shit is not good for you. Make your own shit. Hey, Nate, how have you been doing? I've been managing and maintaining. I'm the maestro of mayhem, conductor of the chaos that is around me. Um, Kidnapped a couple of billionaires. I detained a few eco terrorists with the group I was with earlier. I feel you, Denise. I'm going off the grid and growing my own food too. Yeah, terrorists calling everyone else terrorists. The irony, everything is projection. I'm not too good at it yet, but I want to at least be ready for anything. I grow corn last year, started a whole war with local bird population. Well, you need to find balance with all of that shit. You got like be like in the old school cartoons. I don't want to say Disney because fuck them too. But just have like that connection. Have the birds doing the dirt for you. Like get them to go plant your seeds. You have like a little certain whistle, and then like they'll go harvest it for you. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but these are ideas. And plus, I lived on a farm, and the chickens they can be adorable. I grew some from chicks, and in the beginning they didn't fuck with me at all. Like they were scared of me. And then we went from 4 to 2 because 2 of them got eaten by owls or falcons or probably owls. And then they started like coming. They loved me after that. The survivors, because they knew I could protect them. And that's also around the time I gave up the meat. But I mean, it was other stuff too. I was living on a farm where crazy shit happened. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I think I mentioned it, but yeah, it was like my landlord. Um, his daughter admitted to killing her mom and dismembering the body. This is around the time that he tried to make what was it, not veal, a venison burrito. I never had venison my entire life, and I wasn't about to start after a body had been like chopped up and it wasn't discovered. And then I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna give up meat in general. Yeah. I mean, it was other stuff too, but that all that shit played a major factor in it. Um, my new dating standard is: can you forage for the family? I mean, that's a real thing. Being able to go out. Some people just do not like. They're opposed to being in nature, and that's big. You can't like everything you have to do. You have to be surrounded by the city. You don't want to break free. And it's just the mentality. I ain't want to get into the trauma that I accrued. Uh, Mostly L.A. LA is where a lot of the trauma came from. But it's like that, it's a certain mentality where you just can't get into nature. It's probably because you just got some devious fucking thoughts, and you are a devious thought. Maybe that too. Um, the crows think some benevolent food wench, but I'm trying my hardest to get rid of them. I mean, I fuck with the crows. Matter of fact, someone called me a crow. Not like an insult. She was native. We were at she lived on one of the reservations. Crow or a raven, but it's like because I'm playful. I didn't take it. I didn't take it as racist. It possibly could have been, but I didn't take it that way. Yeah, I gave up the meats too. The only exception is if I get it from a local farm myself. Well, I'm pescatarian. I eat the fish, and I guess it's been times where I've eaten stuff that when I asked for no meat, this is another reason why it's not good to eat out. Um, 'Cause I went to like burrito spot, asked for a burrito with no meat, and I've been given burritos with meat in them. Or just not even just that, but just like other stuff. Whenever I have other people cook, it's just like I've been given a false bill of goods where I was told I was eating something that I was not eating. Cook for yourself. Know what's going into your food. I made myself uh, damn fine meatless burrito chock full of all kinds of veggies that you should be eating. A lot of the veggies they put in the shit you get at this restaurants, it's just filler. It's nothing. Iceberg lettuce is nothing. It has no nutrients. You could say it's zero calorie because it's more calories to digest it than there are in the lettuce or whatever. That's some excuse people make, but it's like you get certain dark green leafy vegetables. They can absorb the toxins that are in you, and we have a lot of toxins in us, and so many people don't realize how unhealthy they are. Your native name is Crow. I'm mostly pescatarian, occasional meat eater, but I'm surrounded by full vegans. I'm just game for anything as long as it's in moderation. Food is becoming more spiritual lately. Well, man, you are what you eat. It's either your medicine or your poison. What are you gonna choose? And I say that with some flaming hot chips somewhere in the house. Just one smaller bag, not as much. What do you think about Maduro? Free my nigga. Free Monica. No, yeah, no, I've been. It's funny because this is not new. This deja vu. I remember, back in 2019, I was against all of this shit. I went out to protest by myself, and there was already a group of people waiting. Today, I got the email, that there was an emergency protest for it. I went to two of them. But last time it happened, uh, uh, we had the government had to halt their plans. But from that, I was able to discover um, Bruce Riley of the coup. When I was looking for clips of Maduro, I was doing like an employee evaluation, and that's what he was making a video. He was talking about you need to do everything in your power to stop this. And I had so much respect for him. I looked into his work. He was talented as fuck, and that's when I discovered the coup, and it's been life changing ever since then. Um, and I feel like right now it's these are times that define us. Like who is standing up, who is sitting down. People, and it's crazy. The year just started. We have this crazy shit happen, but it's a flex for power from our government trying to show that they got it to the rest of the world, but we need to show the rest of the world that we got more power than our government, because this was a nationwide uh stand against this tyranny, and we just need to start locking these motherfuckers up. I'm looking at what Nepal did with their leadership. They were frog marching their government members who were selling them out into swamps, and they were throwing shit at them, right? And then they decided to have like to create their own government outside of this shit. What would our government look like if we got rid of all the people who were compromised by Jeffrey Epstein and the Mossad? Maybe we wouldn't be funding the war in Palestine or the genocide in Palestine. And that's turning into the theft of land in Somalia. Now they're calling it Somaliland. And then we're using that to vilify the Somalians in Minnesota, right? It's like this whole ripple effect. It's a chain of action that stems from us having all of these corrupt motherfuckers that we need to get rid of. So let's do it. Kick it like this. Oh no, Denise, it is spiritual. Yes, it is. Free Monica. Yes. But fuck the big sugar corporations and my addiction. Yes. It can be addictive. Government overstepping and creating chaos. J Live fast. Yeah. Well, they thrive in chaos. It was something. It was Hillary Clinton. She was talking about, because she's a teacher now, I think at Columbia, and she was teaching chaos theory or something. And I'm like, it makes sense that she would be teaching around chaos, because they create chaos to implement policies. They have a policy they want to implement, then they create an event that scares the shit out of people. Then they use that event as a reason to implement it. And she's a big advocate of that kind of shit, because evil. We're talking about pure evil. And she wants us to think like if we had a Hillary Clinton or a Joe Biden in the office, would be better off. Would still have evil. They're implemented differently. A lot of this shit will still be in play. I think a large part what we're focusing on Venezuela is because there's no way to win in Ukraine, right? And Russia, they doing some flexing. They got like some hypersonic missiles that our shit cannot touch, right? And they could attach nuclear heads. And then it was China. They were talking shit. They have a what is it? It's called the 61 or something like that. It's a nuclear missile. It could shoot 60 nuclear tipped missiles and one hydrogen bomb. And all it would take is one of those. That's the end of this whole hemisphere. And they were talking, because they were saying there's nobody in our region who can compete with us. The only reason we have these weapons is for the U.S. and possibly Israel. They can get it too. And yeah, so I talked to several people who are connected to military and petrochemical companies. And they were talking about we were supposed to be in war with China by 2025. This was a few years ago. And I've heard some people say as late as 2027. But I think the only reason I think we didn't go into war with China with 2025, because like we did all these war games, we gamed all this shit out. There's no way for us to win. We have to weaken China, and they have a foothold in this hemisphere. And I think they want to start with countries like Venezuela because they got the largest oil resources as well. But it's also, like they've been building their economy even with sanctions on it, and we want to punish the people who did business with them and make an example out of them. But that's our government, or the government that claims to represent us. We need to make an example out of them, right? Because all these countries, they need to know we are not our government. Our government does not represent our interests. That's why we need to have this revolution. Because do you want China to drop that 61 nuclear tipped and hydrogen tipped bombs on us? Is that cool with you? Because of like less than 1% of the population who they're so greedy and so just stupid, idiotic. These motherfuckers like these are the motherfuckers who colonized the world. They colonized this country. They take pride in it. Take pride in the genocide they did on the natives and all the land and all that shit they stole. Well, where did they get the weapons to do it? They got it from China. China. Like they get their shit from the Chinese. Now they want to go after the Chinese, just like the natives who taught them how to live off the land. They genocided them, just like the Moors who got them out of their second dark ages. They wanted to enslave them. Those are the same Moors that when they were in Kemet, they called it Egypt, ran them out of that motherfucker. And it's just like they have no appreciation for those who help them, and they fuck over the people who help them, and then they say, I'm self-made, I did this on my own. And then they continue to just like they create systems that steal, extract, and they born on home plate, and they think they hit a home run. So it's just like we have to show that is not what represents us. So let's detain these motherfuckers, send them off to the countries. Let's be cool with China. Like here goes Nancy Pelosi. You get Donald Trump. I mean, y'all decide who gets who. Y'all can split them up between Iran or Venezuela. It's just like we don't want them. I mean, they no longer have power here. You know, you can have the politicians, you can have the billionaires, you can have all of the CIA, the intelligence agents that you want. I mean, we could take a few of the intelligence folks. Like I'll gladly take Edward Snowden, get him out of Russia. Like, hey, thanks for exposing these motherfuckers. Sorry that they had you on the run. We value you. Instead of like hurting our whistleblowers, we need to celebrate them. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are there too. Israel attack dog America points and shoots. Maybe Maduro is a hero, but you know history is written by the one who wins. That's why we need to win. Because who do you think is going to write the narrative if we keep CNN and MSNBC in power? They're connected to the government. They are the government. They are extensions. You know, it's just like Hitler. You know, Associated Press. That was the only outside journalists that they allowed to publish in Nazi Germany because they told the line. That's why, you know, be wary of anything you see from Associated Press. But right now we have a bunch of Associated Presses. CBS was bought by a Zionist sack of garbage. One of the top personal donor to the IDF. It's just like these motherfuckers are they qualified to be in charge of the narrative? No, they're qualified for the guillotine. I'm not saying I want that. I'm advocating for sending them into a life of poverty and turning that into a TV show. But to you people who want to see the guillotine, I'm open to a discussion. Let's have a democratic process. I mean, why can't we have something like, you know how you get those Amber Alerts? Like when there's a car, and it's always the most vague cars, like a Honda Accord between 1990 and 2017. It's like, you know, be on the lookout for it. You know, what if it was, do you want healthcare for all? Click yes or no, and it's everybody. We get that actual democratic process. Oh, we got this war criminal. This person was taking billions of dollars from APAC, and then they were on the Epstein flight logs. Do you want that person to be in power? No. Okay, so they're out of power. Do you want them to be locked up? Yes. Okay, they're locked up. Okay, do you want a corporal punishment? Let's discuss it. I'm open to it. Reminds me of Gaddafi. Oh, they vilified him. You know, if you got married in Gaddafi's Libya, you got $50,000, you got a house, right? You had health care, you had all of this, all of these benefits. They had gold backed currency, way more stable than our slave notes. But you know, that's why they had to do them in. I work in Canada for China and oil and gas, and they own our resources. Man, I feel bad. It went. I think Canada went to shit when y'all got rid of y'all first black prime minister, Justin Trudeau. Because I know Canadians loved him. He was like so highly regarded. Venezuela has been on a hit list since they kicked out the American oil companies. Yep. China plays the long game. They just moved their nationalists into a country and install their own agents. Then one day that country is China. People say a lot. China has a lot of ambition that I haven't really seen. I think their long game goal is to see their people thriving. They got over 800 million people out of poverty. What America has, we sent like 300 million people into poverty. We got about 500 billionaires and we're just like the cleanup crew. We just work for them some way, somehow. Um, I don't need to fire a single. They don't need to fire a single shot. I mean, they can fire all the shots by stopping selling us shit, because our everything we do is dependent upon them, and it's just funny. People talk about capitalism. It gave us the cell phone. It gave us all this shit. They're making all that shit in China, first and foremost. And second, when you go to the headquarters of our tech bros, where the people who take credit, yes, they all look the same way. They look like your Mark Zuckerbergs and your Elon Musks, the entitled sacks of garbage who can create nothing. But the actual engineers, they come from shithole countries. They are the people who, like, they get attacked whenever the news just decides that we need to, advocate for war with the country, because they look like the countries that we're at war with. Snowden's still a legend, yes. China is good at that. Many African nations are essentially China now. I know many Chinese nationals there. Well, Africa is where China was back in the 1970s. They are developing like a motherfucker. My homeboy just moved out to Ghana. He was talking about, yeah, they have some blackouts. That shit is way, but who has more high speed rail, America or Africa? I mean, all of the Americas. Who has more high speed rail? Africa. They're actually developing their countries. It's not like we envision it from the propaganda we consume. When Europe was underdeveloping Africa, when they put in rail system, it was only to go from the heart of the land, which with all the resources, to export the resources to the Europeans who were looting them. And now they're like kicking them out. That's why I love to see what's going on in the Sahel region. I love me some Burkina Faso glow up stories. They're like doing their damn thing. Thomas Sankara clearly inspired the new leadership, and yeah, it's just um, heartwarming. 1% versus 1% resources would be phenomenal show. Yeah. LOL qualified for the guillotines. Indeed, they are. China has its own imperialist agenda, still racist and opportunistic. Listen, I'm not going to say anything ill of China until I do something about my government. My government is worse. The people, the families that control this motherfucker are infinitely worse than anybody you could ever talk about. And to the extent they have uh, evil in any country, it's usually funded by the government that claims to represent me and you, if you're an American, or just you're from a Western country. Let's just say that. Everyone in this live is officially on the list now. Survivor Island reality TV show, but with all the corrupt politicians sent and isolated to an island. Um, yeah, I could see that. I could see it. You guys see them like really get cutthroat on each other. Like just you cut the resources and you got them fighting each other for it, because like they'll do some shady shit. They'll smile in each other's faces. We'll do the same shit they do to us, but just do it to each other. The only people who they could hurt is other former billionaires and corrupt politicians. You know, and we get to see it. I just want to film it. I want to film them getting their first overdraft fees. And take away their shoelaces and take away anything that they can strangle themselves with. We won't have to kill them. They'll want to kill themselves. I want to see them The only reason I wouldn't want it to be a complete island where there's no connectivity with other people, um, because I want to see them like do some work retail where like they get recognized by people who they used to fuck over, you know, and then the people who they used to fuck over get to tell them how they really feel about them, while they're bagging up their food. You get to spit on them. Man, fuck you. Bitch, you made me get that vaccine, motherfucker. My arm don't work right, bitch. And it's just like, try to flail their arm around, sock them up a little bit. I don't. That's some good television in my book, where I come from. Um, Sounds like a dream. Yeah, done it. I don't need to be revolutionary to be on a list. Yeah, just just have one question. I mean, you question anything, it's a problem. Don't place too much on China. My old college roommate from China was run on the run from them for reporting on the government's failure to provide relief for their flood citizens. Okay, yeah, and we were talking about that shit at the event today. One of the speakers was like, "How do we have all of this money to spend billions of dollars on war?" And like it was just they just shot down the potential for preparing for a flood that ended up coming and destroying a large part of the state. They were like, you guys didn't have any money for that, and we get to see the effects, and now you guys got billions of dollars for this war. Yeah, so America. As an American, we can't be talking about anybody else's lack of preparation for floods. But government versus journalism is a problem everywhere. Yes, yes, it is. Overdraft fees is hilarious. I saw the show Hunger, and it mind boggled me that a billionaire decided to kill his whole family after losing his billions and eating instant ramen. Like, what? Well, that's the thing. Like, back during the after the roaring 20s, when we were entering the depression, when the stock market crashed, was it Black Monday? Uh, those people who were jumping to their death, it's not like they went to $0. They just went from Ferrari money to Honda money. And that was just like enough. They were like, I can't be some regular average income motherfucker. I got to be the person swindling, getting rich off of everybody else's poverty. And those people, they like didn't want to be regular so bad that they would rather kill themselves, because that extra money is what gave them power over you. They had motherfuckers doing strange things for the change in their sofa, and that's what the billionaires want us. It's Richard Wolff. He's an economist. He drew the parallel between the Roaring Twenties, the Gilded Age, um, and our current situation. Because back then, people would just be working for really rich people. Anubis. People would just work for really rich people, be their servants, the servant class, and now we return to that, to the point where it's just like motherfuckers they could just pick up a phone, have you go get their food for them, have you go do their grocery shopping. They could just be lazy as fuck, and they just get a peasant to go do everything for them. And you get a peasant come clean up. You get a peasant, just peasants on demand. And it's just like, instead of one peasant with a somewhat regular paying job, maybe got like a room in the house, they just got like, they could just get peasants from across the city, and they keep the house to themselves. That's some crazy shit, but it's definitely going on right now. Uh, just like how MLK spoke about the poverty program and how the Vietnam War took funding from it. Yeah. And for as horrible as Vietnam was, a war with Venezuela is worse. It's closer by. It's bigger. They got a lot more allies than Vietnam. And off top, who's gonna fight for fight in Venezuela? Is anybody ready to fight for this government against anybody? If I fight anybody, it's gonna be the government. And I think most people are right there. I mean, my family, like the ones who are heavily indoctrinated. I got both my parents were knowingly poisoned by the military bases that they worked at. Right now, I got a niece who's stationed at a military base that's poisoning the entire area in Hawaii, poisoning their water, dumping jet fuel out there. Because there is some brainwashing, where it's just like, some of the family just wants to keep up those traditions. But I mean, it's going to get to a point where it's just hard to hide all the bullshit. Um, and I think we're stretching the bounds of people's credulity right now. All the nationwide protests against the war um, is showing it, and it's just going to get bigger. Um, so back they did the same shit uh, 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 with Chavez. Bush did it back in like 2002 or something. And then the people protested made them give them back. But then he had this mysterious fast moving cancer, which I believe the government gave to him. Just like they gave it to Easy E because he got close with the government, and gave it to Bob Marley because he was speaking against the government. Siaga, who was running in Jamaica to try to take over their politics. So yeah, they'll probably give Maduro back some kind of fast acting cancer. I don't know, but I think the movement is bigger than any one person. Maduro, he was the bus driver of Chavez, and he just picked up the mantle because he was able to uh, uh, illustrate the vision um, better than anyone else after Chavez passed. But it's like they don't hire these personalities; they hire people who can talk about what they're going to do, and of course, there's going to be levels of corruption. Um, but Maduro, he was elected, whether you like it or not. They try to shit on it. Jimmy Carter went out there, said that was a free and fair election. Um, the government that clearly is not free and fair in America said it wasn't. But those are the same motherfuckers who had us choosing between Kamala Harris, who no one voted for, and Donald Trump, who no one wanted to vote for. Yelling at the God of the afterlife is wild, mate. Don't judge me. I don't even know what you're referencing. Um, the Tuskegee Airmen will always make me believe the government is capable of bioterror in any conspiracy I hear, whether I believe it intrinsically or not. I mean, yeah, the Tuskegee Airmen wasn't the only Tuskegee Airmen. Like I said, both my parents knowingly poisoned. And this was like the military bases. It wasn't just like black people either. It was mixed. How I found out about my mom, because my mom died when I was 12. We assumed it was because she was smoking cigarettes. Because she died from cancer, and by the time we discovered it, it metastasized. But we assumed it all started in her lungs and all of this shit, or at least I did. I didn't have the full picture when I was a kid. But then when I went back to the Bay in 2017, I met someone whose mom worked at the same base. Her mom didn't smoke, but her mom died of cancer too. And I was like, oh, it's weird. My mom died of cancer. She worked at the same military base. And then she was like, "Oh, it's not weird. There was a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit against them, the military base, because they were knowingly dropping toxins in the fuel, the soil, the water, and air. So everybody who was there was getting cancer, and they knew it for years, and they did nothing about it. And the same shit was going on at the military base my dad worked at, and it was like, like it was he was working around asbestos, and it was like a book I was reading. They were talking about the people who owned these asbestos companies. When they were taken to court, they were like, "Oh, the people who work with asbestos, they don't mind getting poisoned by it because it's this product provided them a way to make a living. So of course they're honored to be killed by it." I'm paraphrasing, but that's roughly what he was saying. I was like, that is just maniacal. These motherfuckers are crazy. And then they have like this little, they call it a Texas two-step, and how they set up their shell companies to take the fall for poisoning people, so they don't have to pay out all of the money that they owe, and they get to take most of that shit. It's just like a small fee for poisoning a whole community. Like I said, we need to detain these billionaire terrorists. That's what they are. They're fucking terrorists. They're doing it to you right now. Wherever you are, I'm sure they're. Look at what happened in East Palestine. When did we clean up all the toxins that they dumped out there? What do we do? Who paid the cost for that shit? I think they did that shit because they saw on the map it said East Palestine, and like, oh, they're showing solidarity with Palestine. Take them out. Fuck them. The god of the afterlife is your dog. Oh yeah, Anubis. Yeah. Some people don't know that. Technically, I do believe you would call them under tiers, but yeah, a deity, god of the, a protector of the afterlife, the inspiration for Saint Peter, and what you call it, like the three-headed hellhound. Fuck it. But yeah, that's what white people did to it. But he was supposed to weigh your heart against the feather of my eye. Sorry to hear that, Nate. I hope you filed that lawsuit. Well, it was a class action lawsuit filed a while ago, but I'm not a litigious man. I did get like, it was like a payment that one of the lawsuits pertaining to my dad, like my siblings got. It was not a lot. Like I said, they set up their whole shit in a way where they don't have to pay the money that's owed. So it was like a $1,300 check. Wow. They said don't mind is wild as fuck. Nate, you ready for a live action Street Fighter movie? That is not a movie I'm going to be seeing in theaters. I make a point. I don't see any remakes, sequels, or prequels, any franchises in theater. I mean, someone has it. They give me their streaming information because I'm not paying Disney or whatever the fuck. Um, who knows what I'll see if I get bored enough. But yeah, that's definitely, it's not a movie going experience for me. And last Street Fighter movie I saw in theaters, I saw it when I was still doing that TV show. I was doing my first TV show, uh, Rotten Tomatoes, and that was pretty garbage. That was such a garbage movie. And yeah, new one might be better, but yeah, no. uh, I totally blame American food processing my mom's cancer. When Luigi was out her sniping CEOs for the culture, I can't lie, my heart felt a little lighter. Okay, here's the thing. Let's get out. I know a lot of people They take comfort in the fact that a healthcare CEO came across some form of justice because we thought he was just going to die rich of old age, right? I understand wanting to see justice brought, but quit saying Luigi did anything because I don't think he did it. I think he took he didn't look anything like the dude who did it. I think anybody would want to take credit for that kind of work, so the actual killer can get off. And I think they wanted to, and even though he's pleading not guilty, um, yeah, and I think they just wanted to make an example out of him. Like, you kill one of ours, we're gonna find somebody to prosecute. He looks close enough like that, and then the pop culture, we just say Luigi did it, Luigi did it, because we just uh, it feels good to think you got someone, but yeah, I really don't think he did it. And yeah, and I hope he gets off. Even if I was convinced he did it, which I'm seriously not, I still would hope he gets off. But he didn't do it. He did not do it. Really dish. But dish about Luigi, he did not do it. Like, you look at the eyebrows, like all you can look at is like they had such limited exposure to what his face looked like from the mask, right? And what you could see looked nothing like Luigi. If the eyebrows do not split, you must acquit. Because you look at Luigi, he's got that unibrow. He can't grow unibrow in a day. It's like he waxed his eyebrows like before the killing, and his eyebrows just grow back immediately. That makes no sense. He didn't do it. But anywho, internet, I did not realize I was well over an hour. But free Maduro, and if we gotta lock up politicians, let's lock up the billionaire terrorist funded politicians and confiscate their shit like they confiscated those oil tankers. We could take their yachts and we could take their mansions, give it to the homeless. Take all that shit, the BlackRock shit. That's terrorists. These corporations are terrorists. If a corporation is owns property in your neighborhood, steal it, confiscate it. Confiscate it, reappropriate it, give it to people who need it. Especially if it's empty, lock them motherfuckers up. El Salvador said that they're willing to take our billionaires. They have a new super prison. Let's send them there. Like that, and that's also how we show solidarity. That's how we can prevent a nuclear war. Lock up the criminals who are starting these regular wars, and let them know we're not the same. They're not like us. They're not like us. No, they're not like us. Free Monica. Fair enough. I never saw the CCTV. Well, yeah. Like I said, if those eyebrows don't split, you must acquit. Free Luigi. Free Maduro. Free Snowden. Julian Assange is already free. He's actually proactively he's suing the Nobel Peace Prize distributors for giving it to the woman who wants a war, wants America to do what they just did, to kill her own citizens. Yeah, so we got these are the people who we need to lock up. And we got to free the ones who are the truth tellers, the ones who are trying to overthrow this empire. Let the empire fall. The only way to take down an empire this size is from the inside. So do your job. If you see one of these motherfuckers, do that. Get the Bill Cosby action from downtown. Sink one in their drink, and then have them wake up in the clink. Free the good ones. Lock up the billionaire terrorists. Peace. F the Nobel Prize. Yes. Great live, Nate. Great to see you. We'll do it again soon. Viva la revolution.